Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. Last week we talked about the possibility that Nebraska would lie at the intersection between some very cool air to our north and some warm air to our south, and that the models were indicating that the cold front would basically hang up for a couple days before finally sliding through. Indeed, that's what happened. However, it came about a day later than was originally forecasted. Therefore, the warm-up that was supposed to begin at midweek really started to begin in earnest in western Nebraska on Thursday. And we've seen all of the state experience very warm, humid conditions yesterday. Now we are going to see a little bit of relief as we go forward. We're still going to be dealing with temperatures primarily in the upper 80s to the low 90s for a good substantial portion of this week. But as we get into the midweek period, once again, the models are advertising a cool down. Now we have been seeing pockets of dryness starting to materialize the last couple of weeks for those areas that have missed out on the scattered thunderstorm activity. And the area of particular interest at this point in time is portions of south central and central Nebraska. And if we fail to receive significant moisture over this next 7 to 10 day period, I would expect that we will see an expansion of abnormally dry conditions to cover a substantial portion of central into eastern Nebraska. So do we have rainfall in our forecast? Let's get to the upper air models and see what we can expect. We do have a trough coming in from the Pacific Northwest with a ridge over the center part of the country, and there's a piece of energy that has been moved through that was a result of the thunderstorm activity that we've seen yesterday across the state, and we could see some more regeneration of shower activity this morning, and then once again as we get into this evening, as this vortex in the mid layers of the atmosphere passes toward the north and to the east. Now as we go into tomorrow, what we will notice is that ridge pretty much stays fairly stationary, so we're going to have another piece of energy that's going to shoot out of the western United States, and that will make its way into western Nebraska and probably skirt portions of northern and eastern Nebraska with just an isolated shower or thunderstorm expected during the afternoon hours. Now as we go into Monday, we will start to see this trough making its push toward the state. There is some discrepancies in the model in terms of the timing of the surface cold front that will push through the state. Depending on which model you look at, it could be late Monday all the way through late Tuesday, but irregardless, we should see some thunderstorm activity develop in advance of this pretty aggressive upper air trough that will move across the plains regions to our north, and that will generate thunderstorms in the western panhandle, and some of those may make it into central Nebraska. It looks to be fairly isolated in nature. As we get into Tuesday, it looks like we may see a more substantial precipitation, particularly across western and northern Nebraska, as the core energy now lays across the Dakotas. Toward the southeast, we'll probably have to wait maybe all the way into Wednesday morning before we get complete passage of this frontal boundary as this trough itself moves toward the Great Lakes and starts to weaken out. So we will see our cool down on Wednesday, probably looking at a 10-degree cool down, temperatures back down into low to mid 80s. And then as we get into Thursday, as we see this trough pass, we'll start to see the ridge trying to build back in, and that'll allow energy coming from the Pacific Northwest to move on the Gulf moisture and some monsoon moisture. So we once again will see a chance of isolated thunderstorm activity. And then on Friday, we see the same similar pattern as another piece of energy shoots down into our region, so continued chances for scattered thunderstorm activity on Friday. If we look at the temperature forecast, we will stay warm this weekend with a slow cool down in the middle of the week. Daily chances of thunderstorm activity, the best shot will be on Tuesday and Wednesday. As we look at the 8 to 14 day forecast for next Tuesday the following Tuesday, we are looking at normal conditions in terms of temperatures and an increase in moisture across the southern and central plains.